You might think that rich people are just smarter or more disciplined than you. But what if I told you they're not beating you because they're better? They're beating you because they're cheating. The system isn't broken, it's working exactly as intended, just not for you. When I say the system, I'm talking about the same financial infrastructure that surrounds us all: banks, tax codes, investment markets. But while most people get trapped by these systems, the wealthy have learned to game them. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how the rich play by different rules and why they keep getting richer while everyone else stays broke. Let's dive in. The first way the rich get richer is through the tax system. And here's what will blow your mind. They don't just pay less taxes than you. They often pay zero taxes while getting massive refunds from the government. Let's start with something called depreciation. When a rich person buys a private jet for their business, they can write off the entire cost over a few years, even though the jet is still worth millions. Meanwhile, you can't even deduct your car payments for driving to work. Same system, different rules. Or take real estate. Wealthy investors can buy a rental property, claim it's depreciating in value for tax purposes, even while it's actually going up in price, and use that fake loss to wipe out taxes on their other income. You rent that same property and get zero tax benefits, but it gets worse. Remember the 2008 financial crisis? The banks that caused it didn't just avoid punishment, they got bailouts. Billions of taxpayer dollars went to make rich bankers whole again. Meanwhile, regular people lost their homes and got nothing. Privatized profits, socialized losses. Here's another one that'll make you angry. Capital gains tax, that's the tax on investment profits, is lower than income tax. So if you work for your money, you pay up to 37% in taxes. But if you're rich and your money makes money, you only pay 20%. The system literally rewards you more for not working. And don't even get me started on offshore accounts. Rich people can hide money in tax havens like the Cayman Islands and pay almost nothing in taxes. It's completely legal for them. But if you tried to hide your paycheck from the IRS, you'd go to prison. The tax code isn't complicated by accident. It's designed to have loopholes that only rich people with expensive accountants can exploit. You pay your taxes automatically through payroll deduction. They pay their taxes through a team of lawyers finding every possible way to pay nothing. This isn't tax avoidance. This is the system working exactly as designed. They wrote the rules, and they wrote them to benefit themselves. Think about this for a second. When was the last time you got a tax refund that was bigger than what you actually paid in taxes? Never, right? But for them, it happens every year. Look, my whole mission with this channel is to expose exactly how this rigged game works so you can stop playing by their rules. If you're serious about understanding how money really operates, make sure you subscribe, because I've got tons more personal finance content that'll help you build real wealth coming your way. The second way the rich get richer is by using debt as a weapon, but not the kind of debt that destroys you. While you're drowning in credit card debt at 18% interest, they're using debt to multiply their wealth. Here's how this works. When you want to buy something, you save up money or put it on a credit card. When rich people want to buy something, they borrow against their assets. Let's say a billionaire wants to buy a $100 million yacht. Instead of selling their stocks and paying capital gains tax, they just borrow the money using their stock portfolio as collateral. The bank gives them a loan at maybe 3% interest. Meanwhile, their stocks are growing at 10% per year, so they're making 7% profit on money they borrowed. You're paying 18% on money you borrowed just to survive. But here's where it gets really unfair. That interest they pay on their loans, it's tax deductible. So not only are they making money by borrowing money, they're getting tax breaks for doing it. When you pay credit card interest, you get nothing. Rich people also use something called leverage to buy real estate. They'll put down 20% on a $10 million building and borrow the other $8 million. If the building goes up in value by just 10%, they've made $1 million on their $2 million investment. That's a 50% return, all because they used other people's money. And if things go wrong, if their investments tank and they can't pay back the loans, the bank just takes the assets, but the rich person's other wealth is protected. Meanwhile, if you default on your credit cards, they can garnish your wages and destroy your credit for 7 years. The system is designed so that debt makes rich people richer and poor people poorer. Same tool, completely different outcomes. Now look, I know what you're thinking. This all sounds crazy, like some kind of conspiracy theory. But here's the reality check. Everything I just told you is completely legal. These aren't secret tactics, they're just tactics you're not allowed to use. The third way the rich get richer is through information. They always know what's coming before you do. And I'm not talking about some conspiracy theory. I'm talking about legal, systematic advantages that are built right into how our economy works. Let's start with insider trading. Now, technically, insider trading is illegal. But here's the thing. If you're a CEO, board member, or major investor, you have access to information that moves markets, and there are perfectly legal ways to profit from it. They know about earnings reports, mergers, and product launches months before the public. By the time you hear about it on the news, they've already made their moves. Then there's early access to investments. When a hot new company goes public, rich people get first dibs through private wealth managers. You hear about the IPO on CNBC after it's already up 300%. They bought in at $10 a share. You're buying at $40 a share for the same company. Here's another one, private equity and hedge funds. These investment opportunities are literally illegal for you to access unless you're already wealthy. The SEC has accredited investor rules that require you to have over $1 million in assets just to invest in the deals that create the most wealth. It's like being told you can't enter the casino unless you're already rich. And when market-moving news breaks, they find out through their networks first. A phone call from a friend on a corporate board, a conversation at the country club, insider knowledge from their business connections. By the time it hits Bloomberg or CNBC, they've already positioned themselves to profit. The information game is rigged from the start. They're playing with tomorrow's news while you're stuck with yesterday's. Ask yourself this, have you ever heard about a hot investment opportunity before it was already expensive? I bet the answer is no. Let me know in the comments if you've ever gotten early access to anything. I read every single one. The fourth and final way the rich get richer is through the network multiplier effect. This is where your connections literally determine your financial ceiling, and the wealthy have built an exclusive system that keeps opportunity flowing only to other wealthy people. Here's how this works. When rich people want to raise money for a new business, they don't go to banks or crowdfunding sites. They call their friends from college, their golf buddies, or their neighbors in the Hamptons. These people can write million-dollar checks without thinking twice. You have to beg strangers on Kickstarter for a few $1,000s. Rich kids don't apply for internships online like everyone else. Their parents make a phone call to their friend who runs a hedge fund, and suddenly there's an internship that pays more than most people's full-time jobs. By the time they graduate college, they already have connections that most people will never access in their entire careers. Then there are the exclusive investment clubs and private deals. Rich people create investment groups where they pool their money to buy entire companies, real estate portfolios, or get early access to the next big startup. These deals require minimum investments of hundreds of thousands of dollars, so regular people can't even participate. They're literally creating wealth together while excluding everyone else. Board positions work the same way. Once you're on one corporate board, you get invited to others. These positions pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for attending a few meetings per year, and they come with stock options and insider access to other opportunities. It's a closed loop that only benefits people who are already inside. Even their social spaces are designed to create business opportunities. Country clubs, private schools, exclusive charity events, these aren't just for fun. They're networking machines where deals get made over dinner and golf games. The membership fees alone ensure that only wealthy people can access these relationship-building opportunities. The rich don't just have more money, they've created a system where they only do business with each other, share opportunities with each other, and ensure that wealth stays concentrated within their networks. It's not what you know, it's who you know, and you don't know them. So there you have it. 4 ways the system is designed to make the rich richer. They don't pay taxes, they get paid by taxes. They use debt as a wealth multiplier while you drown in it. They get tomorrow's information while you're stuck with yesterday's news. And they've built exclusive networks that only create opportunities for other wealthy people. Here's what I want you to understand. The rich aren't getting richer because they're smarter, more disciplined, or harder working than you. They're getting richer because they're playing by a completely different set of rules. Rules they wrote for themselves. But here's the thing. Once you understand how the game is rigged, you can start making different moves. You can't change the system overnight, but you can stop playing by their rules and start building real wealth for yourself. Now, this video showed you how the rich exploit the system to get richer. But I also created a video that explains the other side of this equation, how that same system is specifically designed to keep you broke and trapped. These two videos work together to show you the complete picture of how this rigged game actually operates. Check it out right here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.